Hi, my name is Megan Gustafson. I'm the superintendent of Farge Schools. I'm reminding you here to please vote on November 3rd. There's one referendum question on the ballot. Passage of the referendum would allow for a district-wide facility improvement project, including building infrastructure, capital maintenance, and safety improvements, renovations, and a small addition to the K-12 facility, Americans with Disabilities Act accessibility updates, and site improvements to the buildings, grounds, and instructional spaces. Something truly amazing and unique about Farge Schools is that our students today are being educated in the same buildings and classrooms and recreational spaces that their parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents were. Some of our buildings date back to over 100 years old and have served Farge students well for generations. These spaces continue to serve us well. However, we are now at a time and place where some repairs and adjustments need to be made to continue to sustain our historic facility to fit our current and future context. The vast majority of our projects are technical and dealing with infrastructure. Some of the major aspects include updating the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems to improve efficiency, air quality, and ventilation, and add air conditioning to all instructional spaces. This includes replacing the facility's steam boiler, which is currently operating far beyond its service life. Additional projects include improving stormwater drainage solutions to avoid flooding and building damage. And another major piece of this component to our project is addressing the significant accessibility issues inherent within an older building. Many of our current instructional spaces are not compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Some of the improvements to our instructional spaces include conversion of the old boiler room into academic space. The large boiler is currently taking up prime real estate in our elementary hallway, where we are already utilizing whatever space we can find as overflow classrooms. This project would also address the needs of our 4K through 12 music program. Currently, these are housed in 2 separate classrooms in 2 separate wings of the building with little opportunity for collaboration. Our award-winning and growing middle school, high school band programs classroom has significant accessibility and space issues, being housed in a small classroom in the basement of the school. The referendum project includes combining the 2 classrooms and relocating the music department to the main level and building a small addition that would provide proper storage and acoustics for rehearsal.
Good afternoon. My name is Karen Fowle and I am the music director for grades 6 through 12 in the Farge School District. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about what the referendum that is coming up in November would mean to the music program here in Farge. I am currently teaching from the basement, and I don't have much accessibility for students to get down here other than an outside ramp or a pretty steep staircase. So sometimes it is a little difficult for students, especially if they have hurt themselves and are on crutches. They have to hobble down my stairs or go outside. So I would say my number one concern about my classroom right now is the accessibility for students to get here safely. We also have some special needs students that it is pretty worrisome to see them have to come all the way down the stairs, but it's so important for them to be a part of the program that I really feel like that's an issue that we should work on solving so they can also be included in the music program here in Farge. The classroom that I currently have also has very low ceilings, and we've been very fortunate that the music program has grown significantly in the last few years. And those ceilings make the volume of the classroom very loud, which can cause pretty significant hearing loss for me and the students. And so we really would like to get into an area that is acoustically more sound, with some higher ceilings and just a little bit more space. The other biggest concern that I have with my classroom currently is how I get instruments up to our performance space. Every instrument, no matter the size or weight of it, has to be taken either outside and all the way around the building to the gym entrance, or carried up the stairs. And this causes a lot of wear and tear on instruments that are very expensive to purchase. Currently, the marimba that I have, the wheels are all very, very rusty because it's had to be taken outside when the ground is a little bit wet, and so the wheels have started to rust. And that is going to be a significant cost to replace, and for any instrument. And it's just a lot of headache and a lot of hassle to get the instruments where they need to be. In the referendum, my classroom would be upstairs on the same floor as the gym, so it would just be a significant change in our ability to get equipment and instruments into our performance space. I am really excited about the progress that music students are making here in Lafarge, and it is a great joy for me to be able to bring music to the students and to the community of Lafarge. And so I am hoping that you will support our referendum to make significant improvements to the music classroom. Thank you for your support.
Farge Schools is proud of its career and technical education programming, including our agriculture and technical education departments. These spaces and the equipment and fixtures within them were designed decades ago and are currently out of date. A large part of the Farge Schools strategic plan includes readiness for college, career, and life, many of the skills inherent to our CTE classes. Similarly to our music program, these classrooms are currently housed in physically distanced classrooms on different levels of the building, resulting in missed opportunities for sharing equipment and expanding course offerings. This project would include relocating both of these programs to a combined lower-level lab space, which would support programming in students graduating high school, college, career, and life ready. An overhead door would be added to that end of the building to allow for the installation of a lift to grow our auto mechanic program, and the accessibility issues would also be addressed.
Hi everyone, most of you probably know me. I'm Mike Fowle. I'm the Ag and Tech Ed teacher at Farge High School. If you weren't aware, about 8 years ago when they hired me to come here, we combined 2 units or 2 programs. I started teaching both Ag and Tech Ed. And so right now, what I do is I teach agriculture in one part of the building and Tech Ed in a different part. So this referendum that I'm speaking on today is in part one of the highlights for me in terms of this happening would be my entire programs would all be combined. So I could be teaching from one space. I would have both labs, access to both programs. And outside of that, besides just getting me in one space, I'm working really a lot of a space that has been designed or was designed for the 1960s and maybe before. So I'm excited to get some features in our shops that'll help us modernize our equipment. Some things that I think we need to be modern is higher ceilings so that we can use hoists and some other equipment in the shops. Another thing that we really need is dust collection and a ventilation system. In the 1950s, ventilating fumes from welding and woodworking was a lot different than they are now, and we've learned that there's a lot of health hazards with that. So for the kids and myself, those ventilation systems are desperately needed. I often compare, a lot of technology in our world to the agricultural field, and in the 1950s and 60s, dairy barns really. The old stanchion barns raised a lot of families and was a good source for milk production, but currently we don't see those systems anymore. And our school has kind of reached that limit where we're outdated and these upgrades are needed to bring us up to current standards in industry. So hopefully we can have your support for our referendum, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and call me anytime. Thank you.
The district's mill rate has been steadily declining since the 2015-2016 school year, when the district paid off a loan that had funded past building projects. Because of an increase in the district's equalized property values, this year the mill rate is predicted to be lower than last year again. The referendum project estimates a $2.24 increase per $1,000 of fair market value over the 2019-2020 tax levy, which would still be significantly lower than the mill rate prior to the last several years. In spite of COVID and an unpredictable economy, this is a good time to be investing in the future of the school due to the historically low interest rates. Investing in schools is an act of optimism. We know COVID will pass, at least the phase we are currently in, and the economy will recover. We want and need our kids to be optimistic about their future and proud of their roots. Investing in them is support of this notion. I invite anyone who has questions to contact me anytime at Farge Schools. My phone number here is 625-0107. I can also be reached by email through our website. Speaking of our website, much more information is available on our Referendum 2020 page. And I would also like to invite anyone who has questions or concerns or would like to learn more to consider attending our open house, which is next Wednesday, October 21st from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Thank you for your time. Vote on November 3rd.